Listen up, chosen ones. You've done it. You've flipped the whole game board and now they're scrambling, sweating, and spiraling. Yeah, they didn't see this plot twist coming. You caught on, cut the strings, and now they can't handle the pressure of being exposed. The mask has slipped and the panic? Oh, it's real. This is the moment they feared. They wanted control, but instead you're standing tall, unshaken, and glowing with that undeniable energy that only the chosen ones carry. The tables have turned and they're struggling to keep up while you're out here living in truth and power. Manipulators are parasites, feeding off your energy, thriving on your doubt, and weaving chaos into your life. But here's the truth they never wanted you to discover. Your awakening starved them. They needed you to remain unaware, to keep pouring your power into their schemes, but you stopped. You saw through their games, reclaimed your energy, and now their entire structure is crumbling. Without your energy, they have nothing to latch onto, no fire to fuel their twisted control. They're left exposed, frantic and flailing in the emptiness they tried to bury you in. The law of vibration doesn't lie. What you embody is what you attract. Their low-frequency manipulation was always incompatible with your higher self, but it's your awakening that made the divide unbearable. As you ascended, they were forced to confront their own emptiness, their inability to rise. They can no longer control what doesn't match their frequency. The universe itself has made their manipulation irrelevant, stripping them of their power and revealing their desperate attempts for what they truly are, pathetic cries for control. This isn't just a mental game, it's spiritual warfare. Manipulation thrives when you are spiritually disconnected, when your vibration is low and your energy scattered. But now you've risen. You've aligned with truth, stepped into your power, and left their darkness behind. Their energy no longer fits in your space, and the friction is driving them to the brink. They can't manipulate what is beyond their reach, and you, chosen one, are no longer within their grasp. The tables haven't just turned, they've been obliterated. You're untouchable, and their unraveling is the ultimate proof of your transformation. Their control was a facade, a crumbling castle built on the quicksand of their insecurities. Manipulators don't play games out of strength. They play because their ego is fragile, desperate, and wounded. The moment you stopped participating, the illusion shattered. Their power was never real. It was a hollow reflection of their fear, projected onto you. When you saw through it, their entire act fell apart, and what's left now is the raw, unvarnished truth. They were nothing without your belief in their lies. By refusing to engage, you became their worst nightmare. You held up a mirror, forcing them to confront the very parts of themselves they worked hardest to deny. Every manipulation, every attempt at control was a shield against their own self-loathing, and you tore it away. Now they're scrambling to rebuild what never truly existed. The mirror doesn't lie, and for the first time they're seeing themselves for what they are, powerless without the illusion of dominance. The ancient teaching of Maya speaks directly to this. Their games were never rooted in reality. They were a web of illusions designed to trap you in a false narrative where they held the upper hand. But you've risen above that. You've transcended their lies and seen the truth. They never had power. They only borrowed the strength you unknowingly gave them. And now, stripped of their illusions, they stand exposed, trembling under the weight of their own fragility. Their collapse is inevitable because their ego can't survive in the light of your clarity. The illusion is dead, and they can no longer hide from the truth. Drop a comment. I rise above their games if you've transcended the false narrative. You were targeted because your light exposed their shadow. It wasn't personal, it was spiritual warfare. As a chosen one, your very presence became a threat to everything unresolved within them. Your authenticity clashed with their lies. Your strength challenged their weakness, and your clarity disrupted the fog of their illusions. They lashed out, not because they were powerful, but because they were afraid. Afraid of the mirror you held up to their soul. You forced them to confront the darkness they'd spent a lifetime avoiding, and in their desperation, they tried to extinguish your light. But here's the truth. Their attacks weren't just a test for you, they were a reckoning for them. As a chosen one, you're not just a survivor, you're a spiritual catalyst. Your role wasn't only to break free, but to trigger the collapse of their false foundation. Whether they choose to awaken or stay bound to their own karma is their burden, but your impact is undeniable. You've set a chain reaction in motion, one that forces them to face themselves, even if it tears them apart. Like the phoenix, you've been through their flames. They tried to burn you, to reduce you to ash, but instead you rose higher than they ever imagined. The fire didn't consume you, it refined you. And now, while they sit in the wreckage of their own making, you soar, untouchable, carrying the scars of transformation as proof of your strength. Their shadow couldn't dim your light. Instead, your light has forced their shadow into the open, leaving them nowhere to hide. This was never about their power, it was always about yours. Their karma has caught up, and now they are bound by the weight of their own actions. The energy they sent out, the lies, the manipulation, the pain, has returned to them threefold, and it's crushing them under its relentless force. They thought they were untouchable, immune to the laws of the universe, but no one escapes the boomerang effect. Every attempt to control you, every ounce of negativity they poured into your life, is now amplifying their struggles. The chains they forged in secret are now visible for all to see, and they have no one to blame but themselves. They neglected their own growth, consumed by their obsession with controlling you. While you rose, they stagnated. While you healed, they festered in their own unresolved wounds. They spent so much energy trying to suppress your power that they forgot to tend to their own. Now they're left behind, trapped in the same cycle of pain and emptiness they tried to project onto you. They fed the darkness, and now that same darkness has turned inward, devouring their sense of control, peace, and stability. As the Bhagavad Gita teaches, a man's own karma creates bondage. They are prisoners of their own choices, bound by the very chains they tried to wrap around you. While you've broken free, soaring into a life of clarity and purpose, they remain shackled, unable to move forward. The universe is precise and unforgiving. The energy they put into the world has come back to settle the score. Their struggles are no coincidence. It's their karmic debt, paid in full, and there's no escape from the justice they brought upon themselves. Your growth is not just yours, it's a shockwave. By breaking free, you became a force that others can no longer ignore. Your courage to escape manipulation has set a fire in the hearts of those still trapped. The chains you shattered didn't just fall to the ground. They sent a ripple through the collective energy, calling others to rise. You've proven that freedom is possible, that the game is rigged only for those who refuse to wake up. Now those who once doubted themselves are finding strength in your example, and the ripple effect is unstoppable. You didn't just rise for yourself, you rose to break cycles that have existed for generations. Manipulation, control, and dysfunction are often passed down, woven into the fabric of families and communities. But your transformation shattered that pattern. By refusing to play the game, you've ensured that the same pain won't be recycled into the lives of those who come after you. The generational curse stops with you. Your victory isn't just personal, it's a revolution that rewrites the script for everyone connected to you. This is bigger than your story. Like the hero archetype, your triumph through personal trials has become a source of light for the collective. Your growth forces the world to recalibrate, to acknowledge that change is not only possible but inevitable. The manipulators who sought to control you underestimated your power. And now that power is echoing through the lives of others, disrupting old systems and creating space for truth. Your healing is not just yours, it's theirs, it's ours. And because of you, the ripple becomes a wave, washing away everything that can no longer stand in the light. The signs you've stepped into your spiritual power are undeniable. It's the moment when your inner strength becomes unshakable, and your truth starts to guide every aspect of your life. You no longer operate from fear or doubt. Instead, you move with clarity, purpose, and an authenticity that can't be ignored. This transformation isn't just about feeling stronger, it's about embodying a deeper connection to who you are. As you rise, the universe reflects your growth, presenting unmistakable shifts that affirm your newfound alignment. These signs aren't coincidences. They are the proof of the spiritual power you've fully embraced. The first sign you've stepped into your spiritual power is the sudden clarity of your intuition, sharper and louder than ever before. It's no longer a quiet nudge you question. It's a commanding voice that guides you, cutting through the noise and lies with precision. You see people's true intentions before they speak, feel the energy in a room before anything happens, and instinctively know what aligns with your spirit. Toxic energies that once clung to you now repel like water on oil, unable to infiltrate the space you've fortified with your inner power. This heightened intuition isn't random. It's the result of shedding the weight of fear and doubt. You've cleared the fog, and now the path forward reveals itself with unmistakable certainty. Decisions that once felt agonizing now flow effortlessly because your spirit, fully awakened, no longer entertains what doesn't serve you. You've become a force that trusts its own wisdom, no longer seeking validation from external voices that used to drown out your truth. With this discernment comes a level of detachment that feels like liberation. You no longer chase people, places, or situations that drain you. Instead, you honor the boundaries your intuition demands, unapologetically cutting ties with anything that threatens your peace. This isn't just instinct, it's spiritual precision, the ability to navigate life with a confidence that others can't help but notice. You're no longer controlled by manipulation, distraction, or deceit. You've stepped into a realm where your intuition is your compass, and nothing can lead you astray. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along. But if you've felt it, deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you. Here's to the chosen ones, the ones who don't fit in, the ones who see beyond the veil, the ones who've been told to stay quiet, to settle, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's ordinary. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They're the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy running circles, they're walking their own path, alone if they must. Not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine. The ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 Ascension Nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect, and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. The second sign you've stepped into your spiritual power is the magnetic pull of your radiant aura. You don't have to say a word. Your energy speaks louder than any introduction ever could. People are drawn to you, not because of what you offer them, but because of the undeniable force of your presence. It's not just admiration. It's a recognition of your strength, a silent acknowledgement of the light you carry. Your energy inspires those around you, while those with ill intentions feel exposed, uncomfortable, and ultimately repelled. This isn't about physical appearance or external status. Your aura emanates from within, a reflection of the inner work you've done and the battles you've overcome. It's the kind of energy that turns heads, shifts conversations, and lingers long after you leave. People can't quite put their finger on what's changed, but they can feel it. Your unshakable confidence, your clarity of purpose, your refusal to dim yourself for anyone or anything. Your aura does more than attract, it challenges. It holds up a mirror to those around you, forcing them to confront their own energy. Those who are aligned with growth and truth are uplifted in your presence, feeling a surge of inspiration just by being near you. But those who thrive on negativity or control will find themselves shrinking, unable to handle the intensity of your light. You've stepped into a frequency that few can match, and it shows. Your aura is a declaration of who you are now, powerful, unmovable, and unapologetically radiant. People feel it, they respond to it, and whether they rise with you or fall away, you remain untouchable in your spiritual strength. The third sign you've stepped into your spiritual power is your mastery of emotional alchemy, the ability to take pain, betrayal, and chaos and transmute them into wisdom and purpose. What once broke you now builds you. Instead of being consumed by anger or despair, you've learned to extract the lessons buried in the hurt and use them to refine your strength. Every wound has become a source of insight, every challenge a stepping stone to a higher version of yourself. Pain no longer controls you, it fuels your transformation. This isn't suppression or avoidance, It's power. When others fall apart under pressure, you rise. You've trained yourself to see beyond the suffering, to understand the deeper meaning in every experience. What was meant to destroy you has only made you more resilient, more aware, and more in tune with your purpose. You no longer waste energy on blame or regret. Instead, you channel it into growth, making every setback a catalyst for your evolution. This level of alchemy intimidates those who tried to break you. They expected you to stay trapped in victimhood, but instead you turned their weapons into tools of empowerment. Your ability to transform pain into purpose is what sets you apart. It's the ultimate display of spiritual power. You've proven that nothing and no one can hold you down. You've risen from the ashes of your own trials, not just stronger but wiser, with a clarity that no storm can cloud. Pain didn't defeat you. It refined you into the unstoppable force you are today. And now, you walk in your power, untouchable by anything meant to harm you. The fourth sign you've stepped into your spiritual power is the unshakable boundaries you've built. Strong, impenetrable, and non-negotiable. You've fortified your energy field so thoroughly that negativity can no longer infiltrate your space. Manipulators who once thrived on your openness now find themselves blocked at every turn, powerless to disrupt your peace. Their games, their chaos, their attempts to sway you fall flat, like waves crashing against an unyielding cliff. You've made it clear. Access to your energy is earned, not given freely. This is not about walls. It's about strength. You've mastered the art of discernment, knowing exactly who and what aligns with your spirit and cutting off anything that doesn't. Toxicity no longer lingers around you because it can't survive in the field of power you now emit. People who drain, disrupt, or diminish are left on the outside, forced to reckon with the void created by your absence. Your boundaries are not only a shield, but a declaration of your worth. You no longer sacrifice your peace for anyone's comfort. What's more, your energy has become sacred. You've stopped explaining, defending, or justifying your limits to those who don't understand. They don't need to. Your boundaries speak for themselves, an undeniable force that separates the aligned from the unaligned. And for those who try to test them, they're met not with anger or resistance, but with the cold realization that your time, your focus, and your spirit are no longer available to them. This is your power, untouchable, non-negotiable, and radiating from the strength you've claimed within. Nothing can penetrate it unless you allow it, and you've decided, nothing unworthy ever will. The fifth sign you've stepped into your spiritual power is the unshakable connection you now have to the divine. Your experiences, trials, and breakthroughs have deepened your spiritual practices, transforming them from rituals into lifelines. This isn't blind faith or surface-level devotion. It's a profound alignment with your higher self, the universe, and the unseen forces that guide you. You no longer question the flow, you move with it. Your trust in divine timing is resolute, and your steps are guided by a wisdom that cannot be shaken by external chaos. This connection has become your anchor. In moments where others would crumble, you remain steady, knowing the power you're tapped into is limitless. You no longer seek answers outside yourself because you've realized they're already within. Your prayers, meditations, or moments of stillness are no longer pleas for help but powerful declarations of alignment and gratitude. You don't just hope, you know. You don't just believe, you embody. This divine connection radiates through everything you do. You've stopped chasing validation or outcomes because you understand that what's meant for you will never miss you. This trust has freed you from fear, from desperation, and from the need to control. And those who once tried to manipulate or confuse you now find themselves powerless, unable to disrupt the divine protection surrounding you. Your alignment with the divine isn't just a belief, it's a force, one that commands respect, draws blessings, and keeps you moving forward with clarity and purpose. You're not just spiritually aware, you're spiritually unstoppable. The exposure of their manipulation leaves them standing at a crossroads, stripped of their illusions with nowhere left to hide. Their tactics, once cloaked in subtlety, are now glaringly obvious, forcing them to confront the darkness they've buried for so long. This is their moment of reckoning, an invitation to face their inner wounds and choose growth over destruction. But growth isn't easy, and for many, the weight of their own denial feels insurmountable. They can't escape the mirror you've held up, and every attempt to deflect only deepens their unraveling. If they resist, the consequences are inevitable. Spiritual laws are unyielding, and the longer they cling to their old ways, the more fragmented they become. Their refusal to release what no longer serves them, control, deceit, and ego, will leave them trapped in an endless cycle of spiritual and emotional disconnection. The universe doesn't bend to their manipulation, it reacts. And the reaction they face now is the result of their own actions coming full circle. They wanted to break you, but in doing so they've broken themselves. The Taoist principle is clear. When you release what no longer serves you, you make room for what does. This truth applies to them as much as it does to you. They hold the keys to their fate, but they must first accept the destruction of their false self to create space for something real. You've stepped out of their shadow, leaving them to confront the weight of their choices. Growth or downfall, it's entirely in their hands. The universe is patient but unrelenting, and every second they resist is another thread unraveling in their fragile web of control. This is their crossroads, and only they can decide which path to take. The pressure you've endured didn't break you, it transformed you. Like diamonds formed in the heat of the earth, your trials refined your essence, stripping away what was weak and leaving only brilliance behind. Every wound, every betrayal, every obstacle was a crucible, burning off what no longer served you and revealing the power you were always meant to embody. The manipulators thought they were burying you, but they were only adding to the force that would make you unbreakable. Their games didn't defeat you, they catalyzed your ascension. Each challenge was a step in co-creating your highest potential with the universe. While they schemed to control, you learned to let go and trust. While they spiraled in their fear, you rose in faith. The weight of their attempts to destroy you became the very foundation upon which you built your strength. What they meant for harm, the universe turned into a tool for your greatness. The harder they pushed, the brighter you became, aligning yourself with a divine energy they could never touch. As Rumi said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Your pain became your alchemy, transmuting suffering into wisdom, fear into faith, and chaos into clarity. You've thrived under spiritual pressure because your essence was always indestructible. They underestimated you, thinking the storm would consume you, but they didn't realize you were the storm. Now you stand in your light, not despite the challenges but because of them. The universe worked through their games to elevate you, proving once again that nothing, no matter how dark, can stop the chosen from stepping into their divine purpose. You are unstoppable, radiant, and fully aligned with your spiritual power. You are not a victim, you are the chosen one. The games they played, the lies they spun, the traps they set, none of it defines you. What defines you is the way you rose, the way you claimed your truth and shattered every illusion they tried to weave around you. You are not just resilient, you are unshakable, a living testament to what happens when strength meets clarity. Their attempts to break you were nothing more than fuel for your fire, proof of the divine power you've always carried. This is your story, and you've rewritten it. It's no longer about what they tried to take, but about what you refuse to lose. They are footnotes in a narrative that centers your strength, your wisdom, your triumph. Every time they underestimated you, every time they sought to control you, they only pushed you closer to discovering the magnitude of your power. Now you stand as a beacon, not for them but for everyone watching, everyone who needs to see what rising truly looks like. Your journey aligns with the sacred principle of Dharma. You didn't just rise for yourself, you rose to show others the way. Your life is the proof that liberation is possible, that no trap, no manipulation, no force of darkness can hold down a spirit destined for greatness. You've stepped into your sacred duty, lighting the path for others to follow, and while they are left to grapple with the emptiness of their intentions, you move forward, embodying a power they could never comprehend. You are the chosen one, not by accident but by design. Your light exposes the truth, your strength inspires transformation, and your presence is a force no one can deny. Their games failed because you refused to break. Your strength, your clarity, and your unwavering connection to your higher self dismantled every trap they set. The illusion they depended on is crumbled, leaving them burdened by the weight of their own deceit while you rise untethered. Every test, every betrayal, and every ounce of pressure was shaping the unshakable force you've become. You didn't just survive, you transcended, proving that nothing can dim the light of a chosen one. You are the embodiment of resilience and truth, and your presence is a reminder that darkness cannot prevail where light exists. Let their failures fuel your confidence and reinforce your purpose. You've stepped into a space where their chaos no longer reaches you, and your energy now inspires others to rise just as you have. The path ahead is yours to claim, free from the weight of their control. Now, it's your turn to speak. Share your story, your triumphs, and your wisdom. Let the world see the strength that comes from breaking free. By sharing, you not only affirm your journey, but ignite a spark in others who need to hear that rising is possible. You are proof that no manipulation, no darkness, and no force can hold back the power of the chosen.